a different perspective to Venice than a lot of people, because a lot of people might be utilizing public transportation, but they don't generally sort of go out to Murano unless they've got a private boat or something. So hopefully you enjoy going to the original location of the reading of the Glass Masters and the demonstration there. If you look there to the right hand side, there's a couple of fishermen, so the water can't be too bad if they're out there fishing. Some parts though of the canals of Venice are not actually so clean, and you might learn a few things from our local specialist today when we get to be taken with the Venice secrets through the back streets of Venice. So we'll be using 2 guides today to be able to cater for our group. Should be quite nice. We've got about sort of 17 people or so for each of those groups, so it's nice when it's a small, you're a small net number. And also when you finish up in St. Mark's Square, that's when I'm going to have a drink ready for you, right? So you'll be able to, you actually order off a menu which of the drinks you would like to have. You might like to have a spritzer, which is with Aperol, sparkling white wine. It's topped off with soda water, so it's not too strong. I would say it's probably got the same strength as maybe a beer, maybe a stronger beer, but certainly it's got maybe half the strength of a normal glass of wine. Right. So there's one that's quite popular these days, which is called an Ugo, and it has mint leaves, elderflower liqueur with white wine and soda water, as in the Prosecco soda water. So it's quite a refreshing with ice, is the Ugo. Or you might have Campari spritz, which is instead of the Aperol spritz, it's very bitter. So if you don't like sweet, but you prefer, going to get the ruby red one, which is the Aperol spritz with a slice of orange, normally an olive in there as well. Or you might like to have just a simple Prosecco, which is a flute of sparkling white wine, as we had last night. You had a welcome drink there, which was part of our experience last night at dinner, and that was the Prosecco white wine. Or maybe just a regular beer, or just a soda, or maybe just a mineral water if you prefer, so that you've got a choice. So, but remember, sometimes I see people, they sit down and they feel hungry because it's coming to midday, and then they start ordering food. So you could order food if you wish to, but you'll tend to find that the toasted sandwiches or the pizza and so forth that they do is more like snack food, which is fine, but keep an eye on the price of the menu, because you might find it's a little bit more costly than anywhere else in Italy.
Oh boy.
St. Mark's Square certainly is one of those places. That's why there's always tables and chairs available, because it scares not only the patrons away, sometimes the pigeons too. Actually, the pigeons never get scared away. They'll come in and they'll say, hey, also today, if you're going to get something, a snack, just something very light. I like the trapezzino, which is triangular in shape, and it might have like olives and tuna with mayonnaise inside, or it might have cocktail onions and tuna with mayonnaise, or it might have ham and cheese, or tomato and cheese, or crab meat and some mayonnaise, or it might be a ham and cheese, or it could be just something. They're just like sandwiches, so those tend to be quite nice way to settle the hunger, because a lot of you are going up on the Lagoon Cruise. So when we go on the Lagoon Cruise, we'll be, obviously we have our departure where I'm meeting you guys at 2:35, I've written on the information, 2:35, so that we're all ready to go. As soon as that boat turns up, away we go. We'll also do a drop off to the dock over on Lido for those who are not participating in the Lagoon Cruise. Okay, so I believe there are four people who are not going on the Lagoon Cruise, so therefore it's okay, but it's what I'm saying to you, in case you are not planning on doing that return trip to the Lido Island, please tell me, because there's no point going to the Lido Island if there's nobody to be dropped off at the Lido Island. I sometimes have people who say that they are going to stay in town later, or they're going to return back to the hotel earlier. In which case, you can catch one of the water buses. I believe it's line number 2. Just ask at the ticketing desk which of the lines that you need in order to take the journey to the Lido Island for the sake of €9.90. You can go over, on your own schedule so that you're not leaving town in case you're having a nice time. You might be going to one of the museums, you might be going to the Ducal Palace, you might be going over to the Rialto Bridge, you might be doing something different, and therefore you may not plan on taking our 2:35 departure. Okay, so just communicate with me, but otherwise I'll assume that that's your plan. Actually, we can do this. If I don't see you at 2:35 because you're doing your own thing, I will just assume that you're doing your own thing. That means if I see you, for the people not doing the lagoon cruise, at 2:35, if I don't see you, I will understand that you're on your own plan. Is that fair? That way you don't feel obligated. You think, oh, I have to go there because I thought that's what I had to do. No, you are able to do your own plan. But at this stage, I think also there was potentially 2 people that stayed behind today, and that they might, are they going to join us, or are they going to just time out? They're not coming. So you can let me know later on what their decision is and what they want to do, and that way we can accommodate everybody to the best of our ability.
You wouldn't be able to get them better than
There's the old yacht club here on the right hand
they.
side.
They're down here.
Hey, you know that the Venice, the America's Cup is on at the moment, with the sailing, the America's Cup, the most famous regatta in the world, has been staged in Barcelona. But the Venetians also competed when they had the older, sailboats that they were using, like the 12 meters, and they had one called the Aldemoro, and it was did very well, almost won the America's Cup for the Venetians. So it was parked up here at this Naval Academy for young sailors. But, it's a very expensive thing to be involved in the America's Cup these days, so I don't think we'll see too many syndicates coming from this little boat club anymore. I believe that the USA and Italy are in a tight race off at the moment, and it's the first to 5. So Italy got, whoever gets the first 5. So Italy got the first 4 races they won, so they got to 4 points, and then America, Patriot, has come back to 3 points. So I think maybe today, if America Magic, or is it the Patriot, manages to win, it will be equal to 4 points each, and whoever wins the last race, maybe tomorrow, I guess, will be the person that gets into the final of the challenges series of Louis Vuitton. So just as an update to get you excited about the amazing America's Cup. Oh yeah, I love it. You can, yes. But there's other sports as well which are really important too, but sailing is on at the moment. So as we saw yesterday, to the left-hand side, this was a mental asylum, but there was another one too. Can you see that one in the distance? That's the island of San Clemente. It's on the left-hand side, and San Clemente is today a 5-star hotel. So where the really rich people go to stay, celebrities, people that get caught, they stay out there in the mental asylum.
Makes sense.
Apparently, it does feel like that because the long corridors, our Insight colleagues, they stay there sometimes, and they say that they sometimes it's quite difficult because of the long corridors, and if you leave something in your room, you need a stageway just to get back to and from, or maybe a taxi. But there was a mental asylum, as other islands were used as quarantine stations. But here on the right-hand side, this is where there is the locals. If you're wondering where some of the locals are, you can see some of the locals out on the right. But through the trees, these are pavilions which were established as an art exhibition. It started out in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it was by the time of Mussolini, it was converted into a more of an artwork of propaganda for the fascist regime. But if you look through the trees, there is a pavilion, that's the German pavilion just through the trees here. And there's another one which is a little bit further in, which is the American pavilion. And you can see there is like, I think there's Bolivia or I think that flag is Venezuela or Bolivia. This one here, you can see through the trees there that there is Russia, which in the last exhibition was closed, so they weren't allowed to exhibit. And there's other ones there which are, you know, like Australia is very modern. You guys have got a very modern, you know, box-like pavilion. So it's all part of the biannual art exhibition, but they hold also an exhibition every year. So you can see the 24, so they also have the even years, but really the major one is on odd years of the biannual art exhibition is held both here and also in the Arsenale where the ships were manufactured and at the peak, you know, the ships. So it's really interesting going there to see that. Here on the right-hand side, can you see these metal dividers? So this is how they repair the embankments of the waterways. So they'll put those dividers, they'll draw the water out using pumping systems, and that gives the opportunity for the engineers to go in and re-establish any of the barriers to the island. So these days that Venice doesn't change shape. So interesting to see that there. On our left-hand side, you can see how some of the objects that are brought over here. I don't know what these trucks are for, but they look really much, maybe they're all about outside broadcasting trucks, so there might be something going on. If you see those trucks being transported by barge. So no doubt a lot of television technology in there. But we've just had the film festival, so there might be something else that's going on the island of Lido, because Lido is really since Mussolini again was propaganda was all about the film festival.
Nice boat.
You know, the filmmakers are competing in order to win the prizes. The golden prize really is the golden lion. If you ever see the, you know, film directors and actors and so forth that are holding the lion, that's their dream come true if they win or take home a prize in the Venetian Film Festival. So as we get closer to our destination, just a couple of things I need to sort of think to myself. What's a good idea? What do you need to know? Just when you're walking around, the pickpockets will be out. So the pickpocketing situation is a real sort of a troublesome thing. You'll need to have your radios ready for our people that are doing the Venetian secrets. So just get your radios out handy, because we'll get started immediately as we start here. We're looking actually quite good for time. You can see some of the water buses that are parked up, obviously because of the strike today. So maybe actually I think it might be safer to rely upon us for the transportation back, just remembering that. So I was mentioning coming back on public transportation, that was a mistake. I will change my tact and suggest to you that if you do stay in town, you might find it difficult to get back to the Lido Island because of the strike. So make sure, you know, just for your own. But there is a limited service, and you can always take a water taxi, I guess, but the water taxis will be hard to come by, and they are very expensive. You know, to get from here to Lido could cost you €100 in a water taxi. So, yes, exactly. It could be quite a costly exercise. So, it maybe cost less, I don't know, but just my guess is they tend to be, for a short distance, you know, 60 to €100 is not unusual. And also for this location here, if you've got your radios on, let's put them to the test, shall we? I'll put mine on as well, because I switched over to another radio because yesterday there was a bit of a struggle with mine sort of being a bit crackly. And let me put this guy in here.
It's just for the big one.